Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Rabbi Steele and proud to be on the bima with Rabbi John Linder and our cantorial soloist Todd Herzog. And this is our monthly family service, so we decided to do things a little more cash tonight. So the podium is back, and we're going to have a little bit shorter service and perhaps a little bit more interactive, and we just hope it will be fun and engaging for everyone. So thanks for being here. I'm going to share a few brief announcements. Torah study is held every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. via Zoom, and also serves as a minyan for anyone saying Kaddish. And our weekly e-news email contains opportunities to engage in the life of Solel. Take a moment to read it and get involved in any activity that appeals to you. Please be aware of the exits in our sanctuary and make sure that your cell phone is silenced so we can all enjoy Shabbat together. All right. And so we are going to continue bringing in Shabbat with a wonderful song on page 344, Shir Hadash. This is from Psalm 96, that when we pray, we should make our prayer new with new songs to God. Join us.
Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Sing unto God a new song.
We continue to bring in Shabbat with the lighting of the candles and the sweetness of the Kiddush. The candle blessing can be found on page 2, and I'd like to invite up Sherry and Gary Horowitz for these two blessings. As we take in for ourselves a sense of the light, the spiritual light of Shabbat as the candles are lit, and also that sweet and holiness that we mark with the wine or grape juice. Page 2 first. Join together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. And we continue on page 5 with the Kiddush, page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש זכר לציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת אמן.
לחיים.
לחיים.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
So before we continue, I'm going to tell a quick story. The Baal Shem Tov, who is the founder of Hasidic Judaism, would go to synagogue on Shabbat, and he would bring with him his disciples, his students, and they would all go into the sanctuary, and they would all start praying. And the Baal Shem Tov would get into almost this trance where he was just praying so intently. Well, his students would pray the prayers, and then they'd be done. But the Baal Shem Tov would still be praying. And he'd pray on and on and on, and finally he'd finish. And then they'd all get to go enjoy the Kiddush lunch or the oneg that the temple had. Well, one day his disciples were talking, and one of them said, you know, the Baal Shem Tov always prays so much longer than the rest of us. I wonder if he'd even notice if we got up and tiptoed out, went and had a little food, and then came back. And they talked about it, and they all said, you know, that probably isn't so kosher, so to speak. So we're not going to do that. Well, the next Shabbat, they're sitting in services, and the Baal Shem Tov's praying, and they're all praying, and they all get done, but the Baal Shem Tov is still so deep in prayer. And finally, the students, their stomachs start to rumble, and they start looking at each other, and they finally decide, they just all kind of got up together and started to tiptoe out of the sanctuary. Well, as they did that, suddenly the Baal Shem Tov stood up and turned around, and he said, what are you doing? And they said, well, we were just going to step out for a few minutes. And the Baal Shem Tov said, let me tell you something. When we come here to pray, when I start praying, it's as if there's a ladder leading me up to God, a ladder leading me closer and closer to holiness. And you, my community, you are the ones who create that ladder. And when on this Shabbat you got up and you went to leave, I fell off the ladder. And the students then learned how important they were as part of the community. And I really think there's such truth in that story. When we come together and we are a community, there is such strength that comes from just being here together to worship. So I just want to thank every person who made it here tonight, because number one, it's great to see you, and number two, because we add to the strength of our community when we are here together. So if you are here in person, thank you so much. And if you're here on stream, we're also so glad for your connection to this community. So may we lead each other higher as we continue our service with Hine Ma Tov, how good it is to be together on page 10.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. How beautiful it is to be here, feeling like we belong, arm in arm just like sisters and brothers, joined together in song. Hine ma tov ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam yachad.
And we'll turn now to page 28 for the call to worship the Baruch Hu. Please rise in body or in spirit.
Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Do you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
So the Ma'ariv Aravim prayer that is on page, what page is that prayer?
I'm thinking it's around 32.
Yeah, it is page 30 and
30.
30 and 31. So it's a prayer that reminds us that the sun is going to set tonight. The sun is going to set. It's reliable. You can bet on it that the sun's going to set and it's going to get dark out. So I'm curious, things that you can depend on. So this is going to invite a little bit of imagination, and particularly curious what our youngest people have to say about this. Something you can just rely on every single day. Something you can rely on. The same way, but maybe differently, like the sun going down. Something, and doesn't have to be that grand. So, I'm a pretty patient guy. What do you think? Something you can rely on, and let's make this question to those that are B'nai Mitzvah and younger. So that kind of, so I know that a number of you are chomping at the bit to get in there, but, I need some.
We got a hand up right over here.
Oh, yeah, so first you have to introduce yourself.
My name is Skylar.
Yes, it is. So Skylar, what is it?
Love.
Oh, all right, well, I guess, so love you can depend on. So my goodness, that says a lot about the world, really, a lot about the world which this beautiful, beautiful young girl is growing up in, where she can rely on love. Never take that for granted. Anybody else? Don't tell me Skylar was the, Peter, am I missing somebody? Oh, so well, it's like touche. This is part of our adult B'nai Mitzvah class, so there you go. Appreciation, something that, that says something about you, that it is reliable to be in a place of gratitude and appreciation. I don't know, I'm kind of feeling drawn to the Weinshell family here. Did you have something you wanted to say? No. Oh, all right, just like, all right. But it must have been some other vortex back here.
We got one. River, you got one?
Yeah, River. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is River, and I can rely on homework every night.
You can rely on him. From love to gratitude to homework. So with that, Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. And with that, we will just invite the beautiful spirit in this sanctuary to hear that, and in hearing love and gratitude and the blessing of learning, to hear, to listen to what it means to be in relationship to God with the words of the Shema, page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'en. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'en. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You may be seated. So, Skylar, you channeled one of the themes of every time we pray, and after the Shema, we have the prayer Ve'ahavta, that we should love. And how wonderful for us to think about all the ways that we can express our love to God. And think about that, really, how you express your love to God. It might be in the way that you treat one another within a family. It might be the way that you treat a complete stranger. It might be the way that you care about the beautiful, beautiful earth around us. All ways of, and I don't want to limit all of the ways you're thinking about, but they'll come to you when we sing this meditative Ve'ahavta, or whichever one you had in mind.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim
Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. And as we turn to the Michamocha prayer, page 40, it is our liberation song. And in particular, this month being Pride Month, for those in our community that are able to be who they want to be because our country says that you should be, that everyone is created in the image of God. Want to just draw on some voices before we sing this song. One from the American actor Harvey Fierstein, who says to us, never be bullied into silence. Never allow yourself to be made a victim. Accept no one's definition of your life. Define yourself. And from the writer James Baldwin, you have to go the way your blood beats. If you don't live the only life you have, you won't live some other life. You won't live any life at all. So for the freedom for people to be themselves, for us to be who we are, let's sing these words, Michamocha, page 40.
Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh, Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh.
Kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh.
Malachutecha ra'u vanecha, okei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed.
Join us. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. And at the top of page 43, would love to read this together as a community. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haparei sukat shalom aleinu, va'al kol amo Yisrael, va'al Yerushalayim. And with that, a Hashkivenu prayer.
Okay.
Or not.
You are
Keeping you.
improvising.
Actually, what I really meant, what I really
we can
meant.
do a Hashkivenu prayer.
No, this is actually a perfect time It's a perfect time to think of those in healing, those in need of healing. Hi, I'm Rabbi John Linder.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Temple Solel.
Nice to meet you. It's good to be on the Bema together. This is what family services are all about. But before we hear a musical setting for healing, actually a setting composed by our cantorial soloists, invite you to think of names that you may want to share in a moment, and I will read those names that have been in our prayers this week within the Temple Solel community. Paul Solon, Nicole Hazen, Carol Brillman, Kit Kasich, Steve Gubin, Alice Helfman, Harav Sarah Hadassah Bat Yehudit V'Daniel, Susan Zuber-Chal, Eileen Schwartz, Sandy Levitt, Judy Selinsky, Dave Nichols, Myra Greenberg, Leah Dombro, Lori Elitzik, Emmanuel Kalu, Joan Ballin, Helen Epstein, Jonathan Cohen, Roberta Scharf, Mel Schlesinger, Dorothy Gerbag Barzin, Joni Thompson, Joshua Friedman, Seth Friedman, Marcia Osmov, Marty McGarry, Leon Wall, Randy Newman, Narendra Sood, Caitlin Friedman, Jeff Chapman, Michael Morris, Rebecca Feldberg, Michael Braberman, Barry Fask, Farrell Sachs, Patricia Patty Davis, Diane Harris Klein, Cynthia Marcus, Evie Lieberman, Linda Stotsky, Gary Pageon, Henry McFlicker, Marcus Watts, and any other name you wish to say aloud or in your heart.
Dear God of our ancestors,
Dear God of our ancestors,
help us renew our faith.
help us renew our faith.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Bring peace to all our days.
Bring peace to all our days.
Restore our strength of body.
Restore our strength of body.
Help clarify our minds.
Help clarify our minds.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Rejuvenate our light.
Rejuvenate our light.
El na refana
these blessings
throughout our days and nights.
throughout our days and nights.
We celebrate the journey,
We celebrate the journey,
this precious gift of life.
this precious gift of life.
El na refana lanu. El na refana lanu. El na refana lanu. El na refana lanu.
The sages implore us, pray as if everything depended on God, and act as if everything depended on you. We rise for the Amidah, page 46.
Adonai. Ananana svatai tiftach. Ananana ufi agid tehilatecha. Ananana Adonai, Adonai, Ananana svatai tiftach. Ananana ufi agid tehilatecha. Ananana Adonai, Ananana svatai tiftach. Ananana ufi agid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל, אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לישני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We turn to page 61, and as a community, let's open our hearts in a prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamborech et amo Yisrael bashalom.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
And as we take a moment for silent prayer, invite each of you to think about what is it about peace that you most need. It may be something that is weighing you down personally. Then allow yourself to be gentle and pray for that peace within. It may be someone in your family, someone you hold dear that's broken in some way. Extend your prayer for peace for them, and it may be somewhere in the world that you in particular are thinking about and focusing a prayer for peace. Whatever it is you need, we'll take a moment of silent prayer.
יהיו לרצון אמרפי והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון אמרפי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי
So there was a congregation, and this congregation had one rabbi for many, many years. That rabbi spent pretty much his whole rabbinate at this congregation, and they were very happy with the way that things were done. The people were very happy with the way things were done in their congregation. And time went on, and it came time for that rabbi to retire. Now suddenly